Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayam Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Asotora Sata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayam Vishnu Pada Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Asotora Sata Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai. Iskcon founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Shri Mayapur Dham ki jai. Ganga Maya ki jai. Yamuna Maya ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Tulasi Devi ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Little bit inside would be better. No, I think what you can do is
it's a pretty piece.
This is perfect. May I have kartal, please? Yeah, we can do that. Where's the kartal? Joe has the kartal. Joe Prabhu, may I have kartal? Thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ashtaki Vrinda ki Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki Srila Prabhupada ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki Okay, Hare Krishna. So, welcome everyone for Srimad Bhagavatam class this morning. Today we are reading from Canto number 11, chapter 12, and text number 14 and 15. This is probably one of the most intense sections of Srimad Bhagavatam, these verses here. Very significant. So please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyutamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Okay, so we will recite verse number 11, 12, 14 and 15. I'm going to connect to my laptop because I have a tendency to go all over the place. What did you say? Thank you for giving me association in that. Okay, so please repeat after me. Okay. And this briefcase, please go back into shelf somewhere. Okay. Tasmat tvamuddhavotsrujya chodanam pratichodanam pravrittim cha nivrittim cha shrotavyam shrutameva cha Mamekam sharanam Atmanam sarvadehinam Yahi sarvatma bhavena Mayasyahyakuto bhayaha Mamekameva sharanam Atmanam sarvadehinam Yahi sarvatma bhavena Mayasyahyakuto bhayaha Mamekameva sharanam Atmanam sarvadehinam Yahi sarvatma bhavena Mayasyahyakuto bhayaha. Please chant. Mamekameva sharanam Atmanam sarvadehinam Yahi sarvatma bhavena Mayasyahyakuto bhayaha. Mamekameva sharanam Atmanam sarvadehinam yahi sarvatma bhavena maya syahyakuto bhayaha Mamekameva sharanam Atmanam sarvadehinam Yahi sarvatma bhavena Mayasya kuto bhayaha. Anyone else would like to chant? Mamekameva sharanam Atmanam sarvadehinam Yahi sarvatma bhavena Mayasya kuto bhayaha. Okay, we'll do the synonyms for both the verses. You'll find a lot of words that you are familiar with. So that's what we'll talk about. Tasmat, therefore. Tvam, you. Uddhava, O Uddhava. Utsrijya, giving up. Chodanam, the regulations of the Vedas. Pratichodanam, the injunctions of supplementary Vedic literatures. Pravrittim, injunctions. Cha, and. Nivrittim, prohibitions. Cha, also. Shrotavyam, that which is to be heard. Shrutam, that which has been heard. Eva, indeed. Cha, also. Mam, to me. Ekam, alone. Eva, actually. Sharanam, shelter. Atmanam, the supersoul within the heart. Sarvadehinam, of all conditioned souls. Yahi, you must go. Sarva Atma Bhavena, with exclusive devotion. Maya, by my mercy. Syaha, you should be. He, certainly. Akutaha bhayaha, free from fear in all circumstances. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Therefore, my dear Uddhava, abandon the Vedic mantras as well as the procedures of supplementary Vedic literatures and their positive and negative injunctions. Disregard that which has been heard and that which is to be heard. Simply take shelter of me alone, for I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, situated within the heart of all conditioned souls. Take shelter of me wholeheartedly, and by my grace be free from fear in all circumstances. Could someone read the purport? There are 2 paragraphs, maybe one each. Microphone.
Sri Uddhava inquired from Lord Krishna about the symptoms of saintly persons and liberated souls. And the Lord has replied in terms of different levels of spiritual advancement, distinguishing between those who are able to understand Lord Krishna to be the principal goal of life, and those loving devotees who accept Lord Krishna and devotional service to Him as the only goal of life. Lord Krishna also mentioned that He is captured by His loving devotees, and even by those who sincerely associate with His loving devotees. Among all the devotees, the gopis of Vrindavan were described by the Lord as having achieved such a rare state of pure devotional service that Lord Krishna personally feels constantly indebted to them. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Lord Krishna previously kept the gopis' love for him concealed in his heart because of its confidential nature and the Lord's own gravity. Finally, however, when Lord Krishna could not remain silent about the intense love of the gopis, and thus in these verses, the Lord reveals to Uddhava how the gopis loved him in Vrindavan and brought him fully under their control. The Lord would relax in secret places with the loving gopis, and by conjugal spontaneous affection, the greatest love was exchanged between them.
Thank you. Could someone else read, please? One second, sorry. I decreased the font size and it went the other way. Okay.
As explained by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita, one cannot achieve the perfection of life merely by renouncing the material world or by executing ordinary sectarian religious principles. One must actually understand the identity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And by associating with his pure devotees, one must learn to love the Lord in his personal original form. This love may be expressed in either the conjugal, parental, fraternal, or serving rasa or relationship. The Lord has elaborately explained to Uddhava the system of philosophical analysis of the material world. And now he clearly concludes that it is useless for Uddhava to waste time in fruitive activities or mental speculation. Actually, Lord Krishna is hinting that Uddhava should assimilate the example of the gopis and try to advance further in Krishna consciousness by following in the footsteps of the cowherd damsels of Vraj. Any conditioned soul who is unsatisfied with the cruel laws of nature, which impose disease, old age, and death, should understand that Lord Krishna can deliver all living beings from the problems of material existence. There is no need to entangle oneself in unauthorized sectarian rituals, injunctions, or prohibitions. One should simply surrender to Lord Krishna, following the example of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Lord Krishna himself. By the authorized, regulated process of bhakti yoga, Krishna consciousness, one easily achieves spiritual perfection.
Thank you, Prabhu. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanyameshwaram Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Hanumat Preshaka Swamin Niti Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So these verses, starting verse number about 9 or 10, these are very describing really very intimate things about Krishna. Very personal feelings of Krishna that he hasn't expressed in the Bhagavatam before. You don't see them in Bhagavad Gita, even in Srimad Bhagavatam. He talks to gopis, but here now he's talking to Uddhava about these things. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that actually Krishna tried to suppress these feelings, but he's leaving the planet, right? He's wrapping up his pastimes, and Uddhava is very intimate associate of Krishna. And Uddhava has been asking questions about conditioned beings, liberated beings, about the process of devotional service. And Krishna has explained so many things, particularly in this chapter, in the previous one, the karma mishra bhakti, jnana mishra bhakti. What is the meaning of karma mishra bhakti? Yes, bhakti, but mixed with desires for fruitive results. Jnana mishra bhakti, we know the goal to be bhakti, but we are attached to jnana. And kevala bhakti, just nothing else but pure devotion. He explained all these things, and in that process, he just burst out in tears, talking about gopis, the pure love of gopis. That was in verse number 10. I don't have internet on this PC, but let me open my database. I opened some windows, but not all. So in this chapter actually, verse number 10, Krishna, Ramena sardham maturam pranite shvapalkina mayi anurakta chittaha vigada bhavena name viyoga Tivradayonyam dadrushu sukhaya. The residents of Vrindavana, headed by the gopis, were always completely attached to me with the deepest love. Therefore, when my uncle Akrura brought my brother Balarama and me to the city of Mathura, the residents of Vrindavana suffered extreme mental distress because of separation from me and could not find any other source of happiness. So you can see here, Vigada Bhavena, he said, they could not bear separation, the residents of Vrindavana. And then he explains more about the situation of the gopis. That these gopis, they have given up everything. Krishna has spent a day of Brahma with them, but for them, it was like a moment. But the separation was, even a moment was, very, very long. And then he said, my dear Uddhava, just as great sages in yoga trance merge into self-realization, like rivers merging into the ocean, and are thus not aware of material names and forms, similarly, the gopis of Vrindavana were so completely attached to me within their minds that they could not think of their own bodies or of this world or of their future lives. Their entire consciousness was simply bound up in me. So he is glorifying the Vrindavana residents and the gopis and their devotion as the topmost devotion. So answer to Uddhava's question, what are the qualities of devotees? Then Krishna has been explaining all these things and coming to this point of that the gopis are the topmost devotees. And therefore, my dear Uddhava, you abandon the Vedic mantras as well as the procedures of supplementary Vedic literatures and their positive and negative injunctions. Wow. This is such a statement. We don't even follow anything, right? We don't even follow any rules and regulations. And we can say, wow, this is so nice. Krishna is saying, just give up all these Vedic mantras. Right? We can do whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. Disregard that which has been heard and that which is to be heard. Yes, I don't want to hear anything. I don't want anyone to tell me anything. Don't instruct me. Just do whatever. Simply take shelter of me alone. Now that's the difficult part, right? For I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead, situated within the heart of all conditioned souls. Take shelter of me wholeheartedly, and by my grace be free from fear in all circumstances. So this here Krishna is explaining about the topmost devotion. We can just read this and misunderstand what's being said. One time, one person said, I like Bhagavad Gita. What verse in Bhagavad Gita do you like the most? Then he said, the place where Krishna says, now I told you everything and you just do whatever you want. I really like that. Krishna tells Arjuna, now I have given you everything, Arjuna. You contemplate on this and do as you wish to do. And that person, this is very nice. I like this verse. But then Krishna tells Arjuna, Arjuna, because you are very dear to me, because you are my very dear friend, I'll tell you one more thing. After entire Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells him, you do whatever you want. But then Krishna couldn't withhold, because he loves us more than we can ever love him. Prabhupada says actually Krishna is more anxious to receive us back into the spiritual world than our own anxiousness. We may think something, I am trying so hard. Prabhu, you don't know my problems. If you are in my situation, you won't even come to temple even once a month. But I am really, really, working very hard to do this. Right? But Prabhupada says actually Krishna is doing everything for us. He is more anxious and he is trying to help us much more than we could imagine. There's a little saying, I think probably there's a nice song in that, I only remember the essence of it, is this person, he was like, Krishna, where were you? I had so many problems in my life, this problem, that problem. And there were footprints of him and God. And then he says, look, these are our footprints, you were there with me, but when I had so many difficult things, you see, there were only one footprints. So you abandoned me. I was struggling so much. And Krishna says, actually when you see that only one footprints, those were mine. I was carrying you on my back. Through all your troubles and struggles in life. But you just kept on accusing me. You were so angry with me for everything. You should have suffered so much, but I was trying to minimize them to the least possible. But you were impatient, but actually it was me. I was kind of carrying you. So Krishna is with us. He is helping us, right? But what we do is in the name of Krishna, we want to use Krishna for our own material gratification. Not knowing what is good for us. And these material gratifications are so temporary. It may seem to be very attractive in the beginning, but anything that has to do with desiring, wanting to enjoy, wanting to control and enjoy the material nature, this is mode of passion. And what is the result of mode of passion? It could lead to ignorance, but mode of passion leads to misery. Mode of passion simply leads to misery. In the beginning it may be attractive, and mode of ignorance is misery from the beginning to end. It's miserable. But usually we are in this mode of passion, therefore we want to enjoy, do some activity and enjoy the results of it. But it leads to misery. So in this verse, there are certain things that you may have, if you read Bhagavad Gita nicely, you may have seen some of these words. Actually, pretty much most of the words, I could say, you'll find in Bhagavad Gita that are mentioned in this word. All these Sanskrit words, if not 100%, maybe at least 90-95% you'll find in Bhagavad Gita. All these words in here. So, Utsrijya means giving up. He's telling Uddhava to give up these injunctions of the Vedas. Now, can you tell me something from Bhagavad Gita which talks about? We will get there. That's also related. Okay, that's also there. Very good. Particularly about Utsrijya, what can you tell me? I'll give you a hint, in the divine and demoniac natures. The conclusion of what is divine, what is demoniac is what? Follow the scriptures. Yaha shastra vidim utsrijya vartate kamakarataha nasa siddhim avapnoti na shantim na param gatim. That person who gives up the Vedic injunctions and acts whimsically on his own, out of kama, out of desires, to enjoy this material world, to enjoy the sense gratification. Yaha shastra vidim utsrijya vartate kamakarataha, out of lust, out of desire, nasa siddhim avapnoti, he will not attain perfection. Na shantim na param gatim, he will neither attain perfection nor peace nor reach his ultimate destination. But here what is Krishna telling Arjuna? Utsrijya, give up. Chodanam pratichodanam. The injunctions of the Vedas and supplementary literatures. Give up pravritti and nivritti. And it says, pravrittim cha nivrittim cha asura jana na viduhu. These Rakshasas, they don't know what to do, what not to do. And here he is saying, you also give up pravritti nivritti. What is it? What's happening? And same thing, both of you were saying, Nistraigunyo bhavarjuna. How does that word start? Yes. Traigunya Vishaya Veda, Nistraigunyo Bhava Arjuna. Hey Arjuna, these Vedas are dealing with three modes of material nature. Nistraigunyo Bhava Arjuna. You become transcendental to these Vedas, these three modes. Nirdvandvo Nitya Sattvasto Niryogakshema Atmavan. Rise above these dualities of material world. And be fixed. And don't endeavor for gain and welfare. Niryogakshema Atmavan, and be situated in self. And here also you see the words Sarvatma Bhavena and Sarvadehinam Atmanam Sharanam Yahi. You go to the shelter, you take shelter of me, who is the Atma of all the living entities. So now there's one more. Where is Shrotavyam Shrutam? Where did you hear this in Bhagavad Gita? Shrotavyasya Shrutasya cha. Where does it come? Second chapter, okay. Yes, go ahead. Yeah. Yadate moha kalilam buddhir veditarishyati tadagantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. Yadate moha kalilam buddhir veditarishyati. When your intelligence passes this, when it comes out of this dense forest of illusion, at that time you will give up what you have heard and what you are going to hear in the future. What is this? It's all bewildering. Why is Krishna telling us all these things? And finally, what does he say towards the end? Somebody said? Can you give him the microphone? Yeah.
Parityaja mamekam charanam praja aham tvan sarvapapibhyo mokshai shami mashrucha.
Yes, mamekam sharanam. Instead of raja, it says yahi. They have the same meaning. Mamekam sharanam yahi. Mamekam sharanam raja. Sarva dharman parityaja, and parityaja has the same meaning of utsrijya. Utsrijya also means to give up. Parityaja is also give up. So what he said in chapter number 2 of the Bhagavad Gita is what? What is the title? Contents of the Gita summarized. This is the quality of a great teacher. All the teacher training courses are coming from how Krishna taught Bhagavad Gita. So initially you give the summary, what you are going to explain, and then you go into the details, and finally you come back and summarize. So Krishna in the beginning itself, these verses that you mentioned, that he said, they are both coming from second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Traigunya Vishaya Veda and Yadate Moha Kalilam. These are from the beginning sections of the Bhagavad Gita, the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. But Arjuna didn't get it. What did he say in the third chapter, after second chapter was spoken? Yeah, so how does it Ghoram. Tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi Keshava. Buddhi says something about Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi Keshava. Hey Keshava, if you consider this buddhi yoga, which Arjuna understands to be just some study and get out, go to the forest and give up everything. Jayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir. Greater than karma is this buddhi yoga, whatever you are saying, is just, sitting like a tortoise, pulling the limbs inside, that kind of stuff. Tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi. Then why are you engaging me in this ghastly karma of fighting, shooting arrows, killing people? What is this? So, he did not understand what's going on. And you will see here Uddhava says, I also don't understand what you're talking afterwards. So, Krishna has something in mind. Krishna wants something. What is it? That higher state of pure devotion. So we have to cross all these things and get to that higher state of devotion. There are so many rules and regulations. But to get to that higher stage, it does start with following rules and regulations. If we are extremely sincere and we have mercy of the Lord, we can, suddenly get it. But general process is what in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna is describing. Arjuna asks, who is better, impersonalists or personalists? And he clearly says the path of impersonalism is very troublesome. Therefore you take up the path of personalism. And the very first thing he says is what? 12.8. In the Bhakti Yoga, the devotional service chapter, what is Krishna expecting right away? Yes. Can you look up 12.8? He tells to engage his Mai Buddhim Niveshaya. No, is that the... Yes. Mayeva mana adatsva Mai Buddhim Niveshaya Nivasishyasi Mayeva ata urdhvam na samshayah. The very first thing, he says, Mayeva mana adatsva. Fix your mind in me. Fix your intelligence in me. And this is, in the purport you can see, this is 24 hours, constantly meditate, thinking of Krishna and being in this bhava bhakti. Then he says, if you cannot do that, what's next? Yes. What does the next word start? Ata chittam samadatum. Na shaknosi mai sthiram. If you cannot chittam your mind, if you are unable to fix my mind always, ata chittam samadatum na shaknosi mai sthiram abhyasa yogena kaunteya. Abhyasa yogena kaunteya mamichaptum dhananjaya. Then you develop a desire to attain me. But how? Abhyasa yoga. Through the practice of devotion. Means what we are doing. Following the regulative principles of bhakti. The main thing Krishna is asking is, give your mind and intelligence to me, always be absorbed in me. That's what Krishna wants. That is what here he is telling Uddhava. But if you cannot do that, then you do sadhana bhakti. And within the sadhana, the Vaidhi bhakti. So when we do that Vaidhi bhakti, then gradually, then we can come to Raganuga Bhakti. And then go to Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. So in this way, we can go what Krishna really, really enjoys the most. We are meant to give pleasure to Krishna. But the path to get there is through following proper rules and regulations. Now when you hire somebody, at least from my experience, is they do after the job performance reviews. Like how did you perform? You'll have a meeting with your manager. And someone who is at the first level, the expectation is to be able to follow the instructions. When you are hired, the first thing is you should be able to, if you are a beginning engineer, the junior engineer, you need to follow the instructions. And if you are able to do that perfectly, and that's when you are performing perfectly. And then as you advance little bit, then you should be able to take the design and go and implement it. High level design, and you go implement it. Means there's some mental construct, this is how it should be done, this is how it should be done. Now you go, you put it together. You develop some software or you do something. Take the design. And then higher than that is, now you design yourself. And people are coming to you for solutions to their problems. The customers are saying, I want this person on the team to be able to solve the problems. So you gradually, you progress. So same thing in Krishna consciousness. We come to spiritual master, and a third class disciple is somebody who cannot follow the instructions. Guru gives instructions, we don't follow. Jai Shri Shri Radha Nila Madhav ki jai, Radha Giridhari ki jai, Giri Govardhan ki jai, Nitai Chaitanya Chandra Nitai Gaura Chandra Bhagavan ki jai, Prahlad Narsingha Dev ki jai, Panchatattva ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai. So a third class disciple cannot follow instructions. He says something and they say, oh, I didn't do it. And the fourth class person is somebody actually is who twists everything. Guru says something, he does something because that's what he wants. So third class disciple, okay, he says, he doesn't follow. Second class disciple, he properly follows instructions. And first class disciple, he understands the mood of the spiritual master. And even without being told, he pleases Guru in the process of training. So this is the gopis, is the topmost devotees of Krishna. Whatever they do, they give so much pleasure to Krishna. So in the beginning we have to follow all these rules and regulations, but without the desire for karma and jnana. When we follow these rules and regulations properly, it slowly removes these desires for karma and jnana from our heart. What is the definition of bhakti? And yeah. Go ahead, Prabhu. Did you do your Bhakti Shastri? Not yet? Okay, then I cannot hold you accountable. If you did Bhakti Shastri, you should know this verse. The Dhyanaavritam Anukulena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktiruttama. So this is Uttama Bhakti, the first class devotion. But what is the bhakti definition? This is also right, but it is 2 verses actually. The verse before that, Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam bhaktir uchyate. What is called bhakti? This is called bhakti. Is Sarvopadi vinirmuktam. Give up all other designations. We have these designations. I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor, I'm a rich man, I'm an American, I'm an Indian, I'm a man, I'm a woman. We have all these designations. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam. Give up all these upadis. Tat paratvena nirmalam. By being connected to the Supreme Lord, we become free from all contaminations. Tat paratvena nilmanam hrishikena hrishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. Using the senses, we engage ourselves in the master, service of the master of the senses. That is called bhakti. Bhakti means understand that I am the servant and my senses are meant to please the master of the senses, who is Krishna. This is called devotion. Bhakti means just service to Krishna for his pleasure, that is bhakti. But what happens is, in the beginning, we come to Krishna consciousness, we are trying to do service, but we are still attached to upadhis. Okay, I gave up that. I gave up material upadhis. But what is my upadhi here? Who am I? Huh? Am I so and so officer in the temple? Am I a big scholar? And when I do kirtan, the whole temple dances. My identity, we are still struggling to get some identity, right? Because we gave up that upadhi, but then we are looking for that upadhi here also. And gopis, absolutely no upadhi. One time my Guru Maharaj gave this example that there's one brahmachari, so he dances very nicely. And everybody says, Prabhu, your dancing was so nice. So then, he's a very sincere devotee also. So, but one day he got attached to his dancing, I dance so nicely. And then he was dancing and dancing so nicely, and then everybody was laughing. And he was thinking, I'm such a good dancer also. And then everybody was laughing, and his dhoti fell off. He didn't realize. And then he rushed to the bathroom, he says, Krishna, why did you do that to me? And Krishna said, because you are thinking you are such a great dancer. Right? So we may have given up so many upadhis, but Krishna is looking for that last thing we are holding on to. Right? But why is Krishna so much, indebted to these gopis? Because they have given up everything. They have nothing, absolutely nothing in their heart other than this one desire to please Krishna. And when Krishna is pleased, they become so happy. When they serve Krishna, and when they see that Krishna is happy, that's what gives them pleasure. And it is said when Radharani, she just looking at Krishna and serving Krishna, and she could see Krishna's face, he's becoming very happy. And when he sees that, Radharani's face goes, wow, it's so nice, Krishna is happy. Like we become happy when I have something, right? We become happy. But Radharani, totally her senses, they just become happy when Krishna becomes happy. So when Krishna sees that Radharani's face is bright with happiness, then he becomes more happy. Then looking at that, Radharani becomes more happy. So Prabhupada said this infinite ecstasy, non-stop happiness. This is called in the Shikshastakam, Anandam Buddhivardhanam, Pratipadam Vardhanam. At every step it is increasing. How is it possible? This is what it is. When Radharani's pure devotion to Krishna is actually reflected in her own happiness, seeing Krishna happy, then Krishna becomes ecstatic. Then she becomes ecstatic. Looking at that, Krishna becomes more ecstatic. Pratipadam Vardhanam, at every step increasing. Why? Because then there is this selflessness in this service. Through this Mameka Sharanam, just surrender unto me. And this Sharanam is summarized in 6 stages. And then finally, then the 2 things. So the 6 things is Anukulyasya Sankalpa, Pratikulyasya Varjanam. We start with taking some vows that I am going to do something favorable for Krishna consciousness. Last month there was Kartik and some devotees took a vow, I am going to come to Mangalarti every day. And I was so happy to see them. I couldn't come every day in Kartik, but they were coming every single day. Wow! Some of them would drive 45 minutes every day, right? It was so nice to see. So they have, because when I do this, I'll take this sankalpa, it's going to help in advancing. Anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjanam. Give up something. They may take a vow to, okay, I'm not going to eat onion garlic in Kartik. Some general public, right? So, but we have to do fully. At every moment we should think, what is favorable for Krishna consciousness at this moment? Let me do that. What is unfavorable at this moment? I'll reject. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam rakshisyati iti vishvaso. Krishna will protect me. Having this vishvasa, having this faith. Prahlad Maharaj, how much faith he had in Krishna. When he was being tortured, put into boiling oil, he still had the faith. If somebody says something, our heart is full of emotions and Krishna will not stay. It becomes, we cannot keep Krishna in our heart with little things, little problems. Rakshishyasi iti vishvaso. Goptrutve varanam tata. We should have faith in Krishna being our maintainer. That he is our guardian. He is our protector. We are receiving so many things from this universe. We should understand that Krishna will provide. Krishna will maintain. It's very difficult. This is, I'm explaining in simple way. But in real life situation, when we have problems, it's extremely difficult. Extremely difficult, right? But the more we practice at these moments, when we are in trouble, then it will become easier. You cannot go to marathon and on that day, yes, I'll win the marathon. What should you do? You have to practice every single day. You see all these athletes, so much discipline, so much practice they have for that final day. So when every day we seriously practice bhakti, when difficulties do come, we are trained to take shelter of Krishna. Right? But if you want to come to Krishna only when you have problems, then that's not going to work when you have a big problem. You lose hope very quickly. So therefore, this practice, every moment we should think there could be danger at next step. Padam padam yad vipatam. At every step in this material world, there is danger. So we have to, one time, one devotee went to Prabhupada and, Prabhupada, every day I'm praying to Krishna, that you please protect me, I want to be your devotee. And Prabhupada was shocked, like, why every day? You should do it every moment. So we are not there yet, but we can see the pure devotees, that's what they do, Prabhupada, and the mood of the gopis. Goptrutve varanam tama, atma nikshepa karpanye, complete surrender and feeling meek and humble. These are the 6 features of Sharanagati, of surrender. It's very deep subject matter, I'm just giving in summary. And then if you want to condense it further, there are only 2 things. In the Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami, he gives all these rules and regulations. 64 items of devotional service, and within them there are subsections, offenses to holy names. There's so many things given. And some of them we are still actually committing offenses. We should not face our back to the deity. We should not talk in the temple. The social discussions, how are you, this and that, in front of the deities, it should not happen. There's so many injunctions given. And then Rupa Goswami summarizes them into 2 principles. Does anyone know? Yes. Say that in microphone, clear and loud.
Always remember Krishna and never forget him.
Yes, always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Smartavya satatam Vishnu. Vismartavyam na jatuchit. Sarva vidhi nishedaha etayoveha kinkaraha. Always remember Krishna. Never forget Krishna. Sarva vidhi nishedayaha. All these nishedaha, all these vidhis and nishedas, all these injunctions and prohibitions. Etayoreva kinkaraha. They are simply servants of these. All other rules are servants of 2 rules. What are the 2 rules? Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. So everything boils down to this thing. Did gopis ever forget Krishna? They're always remembering Krishna. They would just, every single day, gopis would gather, you make garlands, you make puris, you make pakoras, sandesh, this and that, let's make this, let's clean this place, let's decorate. Why? Krishna is coming today. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 year, 2 years. Years and years passed, Krishna didn't come. But every single day, they were like, Krishna is coming today. They would prepare, they'll be ready for Krishna. What if Krishna comes now? And this is what Goswamis were doing. Hey Krishna, hey Radhe, hey Brajadevi Kecha Lalite, hey Nanda Sunakuta, hey Krishna, hey Lalita, hey Radharani, hey Lalita Sakhi, where are you? Are you at the foothills of Govardhana? Are you in the forest by the Yamuna? Where are you? So they are always never forgetting Krishna, always remembering Krishna, and always looking for Krishna. Right? And when Krishna is telling to Uddhava, he is crying, give up everything and be this. Follow in the footsteps of gopis. And he's pouring out and telling to Uddhava this pure bhava. And he says what? He uses the word bhavena. Sarvatma bhavena. Sarvatma bhavena sarva dehina atmanam sarva dehinam sharanam sarvatma bhavena. With full bhava, you surrender to me who is sarva dehinam atmanam, who I am as a super soul situated in everyone's hearts as well, and surrender unto me. Give up all these other things. Why? Because in Vedas and every places, Traigunya Vishya, they're talking about 3 modes of material nature. Do this, get some material benefit, become a big scholar and defeat everybody. People will clap at you. All these things, give up and just have pure devotion. And Uddhava, this is what you should do. Is Krishna telling Uddhava. Okay, time just flew by. We have 2 minutes. Yes, Prabhu, questions, comments?
On this theme of giving up and surrendering to Krishna, in the conversation between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Roy, this was the pivotal point where Lord Chaitanya actually accepted what he had offered as a means of the perfection of life, and quoted from Lord Brahma in the 10th canto. I can read that.
Yes.
He said, Lord Brahma said, "My dear Lord, those devotees who have thrown away the impersonal conception of the absolute truth, and have therefore abandoned discussing empiric philosophical truths, should hear from self-realized devotees about your holy name, form, pastimes, and qualities. They should completely follow the principles of devotional service and remain free from illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, and animal slaughter. Surrendering themselves fully with body, words, and mind, they can live in any ashram or social status. Indeed, you are conquered by such persons, although you are always unconquerable." And then the preceding text went into ecstatic devotional service. And
yes.
Similarly, in the next chapter of this 11th canto, Krishna makes that statement about the axe, how it's sharpened by surrender to the spiritual master and service to the spiritual master, or inquiry into the spirit from the spiritual master. And then when one is fully strong enough, they can cut down the subtle coverings of mind and intelligence, false ego from the soul, and then even give up that axe of analytical knowledge, which was here likened to empiric philosophical truth.
Yes.
But I was, during our Kartik retreat, I was reflecting on this point. It's so pivotal, and especially in the beginning, we can think, oh, maybe I can do that. Maybe I'm ready to just give up analytical study. But it's like, actually, this is something very deeply rooted, our conception of I and mine in this world.
Yes.
And that we need this analytical perception of the world in order to actually fully realize ourselves as spirit. And then it's as if a natural sequence when we realize that we're spirit, just like someone who's eating realizes that they're no longer hungry, then we can, then gradually that falls away automatically, and one enters into ecstatic devotional service, and that's known by its symptoms. So we can actually recognize.
Yes, thank you. That's perfect summary the way Prabhu explained. Very nice summary. Thank you. initially we dovetail, right? What is my nature? Try to do things, dovetail, keep going. So we'll be honest with Krishna, like Dhruva Maharaj. He said, hey, I'm attached, give me a process. He says, you still do bhakti. But once he did bhakti, then he gave up that desire completely. I don't want it. Krishna says, no, take it. I don't want it. Take it. I don't want it. Take it. You'll be all right. You won't be in Maya. Okay. All right. Then he rules and then he gives up. Right? So we have to also kind of use whatever our nature is, go with it. And a time will come, then we have to give up everything. And we should pray gradually that will advance. Anything else? Anyone? Yes, Prabhu.
Do you have any scriptural quotes for Krishna is more anxious to receive us than we are to return to him?
I only have sadhu pramana. I remember Prabhupada. Prabhupada saying this many times in lecture. It may be there, I have to look up. Yeah, that's a good point though. Yeah. I never, looked up, but it's good. Even yesterday somebody texted me. I was giving a class and I said, these people asked me a reference. I said, why did you say something that you didn't know? And then he said, I heard it from you. जय श्री श्री राधा नीला माधव की जय, निताई चैतन्य चंद्र निताई गौर चंद्र भगवान की जय, राधा गिरिधारी की जय, गिरि गोवर्धन की जय, प्रहलाद सिंह देव की जय, पंचतत्व की जय, गुरु परंपरा की जय. And I gave him the reference from Krishna book. For the fallen souls. Yeah, probably in Bhagavatamrita you will find. Yeah, pretty esoteric, yeah. You were going to say something, Prabhu?
Krishna comes to us through the devotees, so we get taken off of the mental platform. Actually, it's not something that we necessarily do. I feel like I get drugged into spiritual consciousness. So I was reflecting even my ability to focus on Krishna. It comes from Krishna.
Yes. Yes.
So, I'm just dependent at every stage. Even to do my part, I'm dependent.
Yes.
So, thank you to all the devotees and the Lord for pulling me into devotional consciousness.
Thank you for you also helping everyone else. We inspire each other through enthusiasm. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha, right? We take pleasure in enlightening each other. That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10. Yeah. Yeah. Just in association, our abilities become magnified in association. It's amazing. 1 + 1 actually becomes 11. It's just all of a sudden, right? You feel like, wow, I'm able to chant nicely in the association. How did that happen?
Yeah.
Right? Another person is thinking the same.
It's like the gold ring and the diamond.
Yeah.
Put them together, it's very
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes. Okay. Kirsten, you want to say something?
What you were mentioning about desire, and it's still showing up in spiritual life, and how to also be detached from that. But that's just something I'm meditating on, and it was beautiful what you said about it.
So yes, the desire may come, but also at the same time, whatever is our nature, we should pursue it honestly. Sometimes we should not feel, I want to sing, but maybe I don't want to, even take up that service because I'm feeling maybe I have a bad motivation, this and that. So we need to work on it. Yes, I'm good at it, so let me do it. Let me ask for some service, seek the blessings of Vaishnavas, and pray to Krishna that I do with proper mood, and then we go forward with it. So we can, in a healthy manner, work on our desires also. So we don't need to be very fearful. So, but the thing is, if we, seek guidance, we can pretty much navigate properly. That's the main thing is, we can understand that we are prone to make mistakes, and when we do, That's why humility, Radha Krishna Prabhu was saying yesterday, is how humility is important. So humility means not having this expectation to be honored by somebody. And that, if somebody corrects us, then it's very difficult for us. But when we are humble, particularly when it's coming from our well-wishers, we don't mind, right? So we can, whatever our desires are, we can in a healthy way express and go in a positive way about it, and we can succeed, no problem. Like even Dhruva Maharaj did it, he wanted a kingdom. He asked Narada Muni. Narada Muni said, but this is higher. But said, but this is where my consciousness is at this time. Dhruva said, all right, you can still do it. And he did it faster than anyone else actually. He did it in 6 months, he saw Krishna face to face. Right? So he went through it, but in 6 months he got out of it, became a pure devotee. But if we don't even go through it, we may be just feeling bad and never go through it. Right? So then it's better to recognize what it is, and just like Dhruva Maharaj revealed his heart, we reveal our heart to senior devotees, and then they'll give us a path for positive progress. So that's my humble realization. Thank you. Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.